So what does it mean to short a stock? Let's find out. Hi, folks. Welcome to The Way I See It, which is my podcast on investing, money, personal finance, and the interaction with all these guys and what we can learn from them. Let's talk about shorting. It's the term right now that is just going all around. If you look at the market today, it's going crazy in the US and in Europe. We're seeing companies that are have no sales, no revenues in the red, but the share price is going triple digits. So what's going on? What's going on is something called a short squeeze. But let's pause there. Let's go back and define our terms, understand what's going on. Okay, let me use maybe an analogy and explain what shorting is all about. If you buy a share, how do you make money? The share price goes up. You buy at 10 naira, the share price goes to 20 naira. You make a 10 naira profit. So that's easy. Everyone gets that. The share price goes up, you make money, you sell, you make the difference. It's also possible to make money when the share price is going down. How does this work? In certain markets, as in the US and in the UK, if the share price is 10 naira and you believe that the share price is going to fall to 5 naira, what can you do to make money? Well, you can go borrow. Yes, you borrow the share from a broker. So you borrow the share at what price? At 10 naira, correct? You pay him a cost of borrowing, like a lease payment, like a premium. You just pay him maybe 5 kobo for the fee. That's the fee for you to borrow the shares worth 10 naira. Stay with me. When you borrow the shares worth 10 naira, what you do with it, you sell it immediately. So you've made 10 naira cash in your bank, correct? When the share falls to 5 naira, what do? You go back and you buy the share at 5 naira and you return it back to your broker. How much have you made? You've made 5 naira because you sold the shares at 10 naira. The shares fell to 5 naira. You simply bought it back at 5 naira and you gave it back to your broker. Easy. So in those markets, you can make money if the share price goes up and if the share price comes down. You can make money on both of them. And those are pretty easy. Now, when it gets slightly complicated is how you buy and sell that stock to make money when the share price is going up and the share price is coming down. Let's assume the same example we have. You can buy what's called an option. You can buy an option when the share price is going up. You call that a call option. So when you buy a call option, you are saying you think the price is going to go up. So you want the right to buy that share at a fixed price. So going back to our example, the share is 10 naira. You think the share is going to go to 20 naira. You buy a call option, giving you the option, but not the obligation to buy that 20 naira stock. When the share gets to 20 naira, you want to buy it at 11 naira. Do you understand what I just said? The share is now 10 naira. You think the share is going to get to 20 naira. It's going to double. So you buy an option that gives you the right, but not the obligation to buy that 20 naira stock, but at 11 naira. Because at this time, we don't know if the price is going to get to 20. So the same thing, you pay your broker a premium and your broker gives you the right to buy that share that is now worth 10 naira for 11 naira if the share price goes up to 20 naira. So you have that option. He also tells you this option would expire in 2 weeks. So if what you're really doing is that you are saying that in 2 weeks, that share worth 10 naira is going to get to 20 naira. If the share price gets to 20 naira, how do you make money? You basically go to your broker and say, I want to buy that 20 naira share for 11 naira. So how much have you made? You've made the 9 naira because you're buying the share that is worth 20 naira for 11 naira. That's how you make the money on the option. Remember, the share price goes up. You have an option locked in that you can buy that expensive stock at a cheap price, correct? The same thing if you think the share is going to fall, you buy what's called a put option. That gives you the right, but not the obligation, to sell a share at a price in future at a certain date. So go back to our example. The share price is 10 naira. You think the share is going to fall to 5 naira. So you buy a put option, allowing you to sell that share today. So you have the 2 weeks, right? You can sell the share today if you want to for 10 naira. But what happens if the share price falls? You simply buy it at 5 naira and you give back to your broker, just like our example. So the call and the put options simply give you the option to buy or to sell. So if you think the share price is going to go up or down, you want to lock in that profit. You simply go to your broker today and you say, sell me a call option if you think this price is going to go up, or sell me a put option if you think the price is going to go down. So if the price goes up, you simply exercise your option, meaning you simply buy the expensive stock at a lower price and you make a profit. What if the share price goes down? If the share price goes down, then you've already exercised your option. You've sold the share and you've kept your money, which means you simply exercise your option to buy it at the lower price and return the shares back to the broker, right? It's a bit confusing. Make sure you also Google this just to understand it. This is basically what's happening in the options market. Look at it this way. You went to the car market to buy a car and you saw this Mercedes-Benz that you really like. And the dealer told you, this Mercedes-Benz, I'm going to sell it for £1 million. And you don't want to lose the Mercedes-Benz. You only have $900,000 with you. So you tell the car dealer, I tell you what, can you keep this car for me till 4 p.m. today? I'm going to run to my bank and bring you a check. The dealer says, well, if I want to keep this car for you, you have to pay me a fee to keep the car for you because people are going to come and I'm not going to sell the car. So you say, okay, I'll give you 10,000 naira. I'll pay you 10,000 naira today. Keep this car for me so that if I come back by 4 o'clock, I will give you the 1 million and I can buy the car. That's an option. So you bought an option costing 10,000 to buy that car for the million. That's what you've done. So even if someone comes in with a larger amount, the car dealer will not sell that car because he already has an options contract with you saying that you can come back before 4 o'clock and buy that car. If it's 5 o'clock and you don't go back to the car dealer, then your option has expired. Then you can no longer come and tell the dealer, hey, we had a deal, you're supposed to keep the car for me, because your option has expired. That's the same thing with the options market. If in 2 weeks, the 10 naira stock doesn't get to 20 naira, then the option expires. The same thing with the put option. If in 2 weeks, the share price does not fall from 10 to 5 naira, then this put option also expires. So that's basically what you see going on. It's an options squeeze, or what's called a short squeeze. So let's go back to what's happening in the markets right now. GameStop, or the companies that are now being attacked. What happens is that investors, the hedge funds, basically said, we don't think this company is going to survive. We think the company is going to fail. So what they did was they bought a put option, which gave them the right, basically, to sell that company that stock, right? So if the stock today was worth $10, they bought a put option allowing them basically to sell the stock, right? So what did they do? They basically went to the broker and then they borrowed shares from the broker and they sold those shares to the market and then they took the cash today. So they took $10 today per share that they sold. So they have $10 in their possession. The plan, of course, being that they believe that the stock will fall in price in future. If the stock fell in price in future, they would simply go to the market, buy back the same stock at a lower price, and return back to the broker. You see? So they have a contract with the broker that basically says, hey, I want the right to sell this stock at this price. So, and that's what they've done. When they sold, they were basically waiting for the 2 weeks in quote or whatever time that the contract was to expire. Then they will basically buy the stocks during the period and return back to the broker. So their profit would be the difference between what they made in cash when they sold the shares based on their put contract and then what the share price fell to. If they sold the shares at $10 and the share price fell to $5, you see they've made $5 because they will simply take $5, buy the share back and give back to the broker. So they've made $5 per share, correct? In this instance, the boys or the Robin Hood and the Reddit gang basically went to the markets and started to buy up all the shares of the game shop. So when they bought all the shares, they bought the options to buy those shares, they bought shares on the market, they basically bought everything and made the supply thin. So they reduce the supply. So what happens? Remember that the hedge fund guys have sold the stock already. They've collected the cash already. Now they have to return the stocks back to the broker that gave them those shares to close out the account. So what happens? They go to the market and there's no stocks to buy, or there's no stocks to buy at ₦5 or $5. Remember, they bought and they sold at 10 because they have an option to do that. So their plan was to buy back at a lower cost and return. When they got to the market, there are no cheap stocks anymore because there is no more supply. So what happens? They then have to bid higher. So they bid for 6, no supply. They bid for 7, no supply. 8, 9, 10, no supply. At 10, they've lost all their profit. They go to 11 because they have to close their books. Remember, they borrowed the shares that they sold. It wasn't theirs. They borrowed the shares to sell. So that's why you see the stock price now start to go up, because they must buy those shares back to return back to the broker. Hence, it's called a short squeeze because they were short. They sold. So when you go short, you are selling. You have to put. They sold short and they can no longer buy those shares back to give back to the broker because some guys have gone long and bought call options to buy off all those shares. This is a normal occurrence in the market. It's not new. You have people going long, people going short, back and forth, back and forth. The difference in this case is this. These guys doing the calls are the retail people, the small investors per se. So they all came together on a chat room or on a chat room and said, we're going to buy this stock and we're going to basically buy it to force the guys that have short the company to come buy it from us. And it worked. So they bought up all these shares of the game shop, and then the guys, the hedge funds that have gone short, have to come and buy these stocks at whatever price because they have to close their books. That's what you see going on. It's really, really not investing in quotes. You're not buying on fundamentals. You're not buying on sales. The share price is simply going up because there's a share squeeze or a short squeeze. The guys that have gone short, i.e. the guys that sold the stock at $10, hoping to buy it at $5, now find that there are no $5 stocks. and they must buy those shares, even if it gets to 50, because they must close out their books. I've really tried to really break it down and explain it. You can go further and Google what's called the delta and the gamma. So that's basically how they are measuring how much stocks they want to buy. I won't try to go into that now, but it's called the short squeeze. Try to Google that. This is just what's happening. So when you see those stock prices going up, once those short sellers are able to buy enough shares to close out their positions, those stocks are going to crash back down. The prices you see there is simply because the short sellers need to cover their positions. Once their positions are covered, the stocks will fall back to where they were because nobody then needs them. They were already low priced to start with. So be very careful in buying. You may be already too late in the market. The way to have done this was to have bought the call options well before and then simply waited. If you buy now, you're already buying an expensive call option and you're already buying at an elevated level. Be very, very careful about trying to get into the market now to ride the storm. You might buy and the orders might be filled, and then the hedge funds basically go out and you'll be left holding the bags. So I hope I've not confused you too much. I've tried to keep the language very, very simple, but that basically is what a short sell or short squeeze is all about. Send me the messages, keep sharing. FinPlanCaluAja1, that's my Twitter handle, and my email is caluaja@gmail.com. All right, guys, love you all. I'll see you next week.